Hi everybody, it is Mrs. Cutshaw back here again to do another read aloud. I'm so excited because I'm reading one of my favorite stories and movies, I guess. It includes a rose, a princess, a talking candlestick, a talking teapot, and a beast. I wonder, what story is Mrs. Cutshaw going to read? Right, that was pretty easy with those guesses, right? It is Beauty and the Beast. I love this story because it's a fairy tale, and in fairy tales we know that they start with once upon a time. They usually end happy. They usually have happy, like ever after, they lived happily ever after type deals in them, and they usually have a message behind them. And I wonder if you can figure out what that message is from Beauty and the Beast. As you read, maybe see if you can point out some of those details, like does it start with once upon a time? Does it have a happy ending? And most importantly, we have our setting and characters. So right here for setting, remember that it's when and where the story takes place. So it wouldn't be, you wouldn't draw a dog here because a dog is a place. And then right here is our characters. So it's the people or animals in the story. And in this case, objects, which I didn't draw, but I can draw for you. So I wouldn't draw a house here because houses don't talk. And I've never really read a story where houses talk. So far, I wouldn't draw one there. So as I read, I hope that you listen and think about all of those things. Pick out who is the main characters, like who are they? There's two I'm thinking of, maybe three, but I'm thinking of two. And then where does the story take place and when? So let's get to reading, shall we? The Beauty and the Beast. And I will show you the pictures as I go after I read each page. So just be patient with me. The Beauty and the Beast. Once upon a time. That said once upon a time. Isn't that something that we just talked about? Wow. Check. Once upon a time, a young prince lived in a giant castle. One cold night, a beggar arrived and offered him a rose in return for shelter. And if you remember, shelter is like where people go to stay dry, to stay warm, like a house. Your house is a shelter, a tent. So she needed a place to stay, but he sneered at her gift and turned her away. He said, "Nope, I don't want your gift. Go out and live in the cold." Suddenly, she transformed into a beautiful enchantress. Then she turned the prince into a hideous beast. The enchantress also changed the castle servants into enchanted objects. Then she left behind a magic mirror and a rose. For the spell to be broken, the prince would have to fall in love and earn that person's love in return before the last petal fell. So here's the beggar. There's her little rose. And there's him basically telling her, "Go away, I don't want you." And then you have her turning into the enchantress and casting the curse on him, or the spell. And then there it is. So let's see what happens. And if you noticed, the village is always like sunny. And over here it's really dark. I wonder why. I wonder what they're trying to tell us here. So let's get going, shall we? Let's meet some more of our characters. In a small village nearby lived a beautiful young woman named Belle. As she entered the town bookstore, the owner gave her a book as a gift. "It's my favorite. Far-off places, daring sword fights, magic spells, and a prince in disguise. Oh, thank you very much." Belle rushed outside, reading as she walked. Soon, a hunter named Gaston walked up to her. He grabbed the book from her hands. It's about time you get your nose out of those books and paid attention to more important things, like me. Then Gaston's friend LeFou approached. He began to insult Belle's father, Maurice, who was an inventor. What is an inventor? Right, it's someone who invents things, so who creates all these new items for people to use. Let's see what she has to say to him about that. My father's not crazy. He's a genius. Then Belle ran towards her father's cottage. If you look at the picture, I wonder if you can tell how she's feeling. What do you think? Right, she might be feeling a little annoyed, agitated, like really, and mad because they're calling her father a moron or saying that he's crazy. I wouldn't like someone talking about my dad like that. When Belle got home, she told her father that the townspeople were making fun of him. Don't worry, Belle. My invention's going to change everything for us. Maurice was hoping to sell his latest creation at the town fair. He hopped on his horse, Felipe, and headed into town. But Maurice got lost, and he and Felipe ended up in the dark, misty forest. All of a sudden, a pack of wolves surrounded him. Felipe reared and ran away. Terrified, Maurice raced through the forest with the wolves right behind him. When he reached a tall gate, he opened it and dashed inside, then slammed it shut at the angry wolves. Would you be terrified? Would you be scared if angry wolves were running after you? I know I would. All right, let's see. Belle's father looked up and saw a huge castle. He walked up to the front door and knocked. Hello? I've lost my horse and I need a place to stay for the night. Of course, monsieur. You are welcome here. Maurice looked down to see a clock and a candelabrum staring up at him. This isn't possible. Why, you're alive. The candelabrum named Lemire led him inside. Sorry, I got a little tongue-tied. All of a sudden, a loud voice boomed. There's a stranger here. And the shadows lurked a large figure. It was the Beast. Maurice pleaded with him. Please, I need a place to stay. But the Beast ignored him and dragged him away. So there's him talking to the candlesticks. And then there's the Beast getting all mad at him, making him leave. At home, Belle heard a knock on the door. Gaston! Belle, there's not a girl in town who wouldn't love to be in your shoes. Do you know why? Because I want to marry you. Belle turned his proposal down. Nope. She did not like the conceited bully. Disappointed, Gaston left. A little while later, Belle went outside and found Felipe all alone. Felipe, what are you doing here? Where's Papa? The horse whined anxiously. Frightened, Belle quickly leaped on Felipe, who led her to the mysterious forest. Soon, they spotted a castle in the distance. Now, there's her turning down Gaston, and there's them in the forest. Belle ran toward the castle and snuck inside. She wandered down a dark, deserted hallway. A few moments later, she found her father locked in a tower. Papa, we have to get you out of here. Suddenly, she heard a loud voice call out from the dark shadows. What are you doing here? Belle gasped. Standing in front of her was a giant beast. Please let my father go. Take me instead. You would take his place? When Belle promised to stay with the beast forever, he released Maurice. All right, let's see what happened. Back in the village, Maurice ran into the tavern. There he spotted Gaston and his friends. Please, I need your help. A horrible beast has Belle locked in a dungeon. The crowd laughed. convinced that he was crazy. But Maurice's story gave Gaston an idea. Inside the castle, the beast showed Belle to her room. You can go anywhere you'd like, except the West Wing. What's in the West Wing? It's forbidden. The beast stomped off. Belle ran into her bedroom. I'll never escape from this prison or see my father again. Her new friends, the enchanted household objects, tried to cheer her up, but Belle was too upset. There's Gaston and all of his friends laughing at her father. And then there's her talking to the teapot, candlestick, and the broom. Well, candlestick's not there. This is my favorite part of the movie. Later that night, Belle was feeling a little better. Lumiere led her into the dining room. The napkins, dishes, and spoons danced as the serving pieces carried in tasting food. Belle was delighted. Here they are. After dinner, Belle wandered into the forbidden West Wing. Uh-oh. There, she found an enchanted rose shimmering beneath a glass dome. She reached out to lift the cover. But the beast had been secretly watching her. He was very angry. I warned you not to come here. Get out! Terrified, Belle fled the castle. There's her finding it, and him getting very angry with her. Outside, Belle found Felipe. They galloped toward the village. All of a sudden, a pack of wolves circled them. They crept toward Belle, bearing their large white fangs. That means like showing their fangs. Just then, the beast appeared. The wolves began to attack him. With a loud roar, the beast fought off the wolves. As they ran away, the beast collapsed in pain. Belle knew this was her chance to escape, but she could not leave him. Here, lean against Felipe. I'll help you back to the castle. What a noble thing for her to do, because he was so mean and yelled at her and told her to get out. But did she leave him there just to die or to be hurt on his own? No, she helped him even though he was mean, because we treat others the way we want to be treated, right? And even though he did not treat her well, she still did the nice and right thing. We can all learn from her. When they returned, Belle tended to the beast's wounds and thanked him for saving her life. The beast smiled to show how grateful he was. He gave her access to the beautiful library. Meanwhile, Gaston was plotting to put Belle's father in an insane asylum. The only way he wouldn't do it was if Belle agreed to marry him. Gaston was convinced that soon she'd become his wife. There's her tending to the wounds. And then there's Gaston planning to lock her father up forever. As more time passed, Belle and the beast became good friends. One day, she watched as he tried to feed some tiny birds. She realized that he was kind and gentle, despite his gruff appearance. Meaning, even though he looks so angry and mean and has those sharp fangs and is huge, he was very nice. He was kind and gentle, even though that's the way he looked, right? One night, Belle and the beast dressed up for a fancy dinner. The beast even remembered his table manners. They both had a wonderful time. So there's them doing the birds and then having dinner. Aww. After dinner, Belle taught the beast how to dance. They glided gracefully across the floor. The beast had never been happier. He asked Belle if she too was happy. Yes, I only wish I could see my father. I miss him so much. There is a way. Oh. I wonder what he means. Let's see. It's the mirror that the enchantress left. Moments later, the beast brought Belle to the magic mirror. When she wished to see her father, Maurice appeared in the glass. He was lost in the woods. The beast saw the unhappy look on Belle's face. He decided to let her go, even if it meant he would never be human again. He handed Belle the mirror. Take it with you, so you'll always have a way to look back and remember me. Wow, so he's putting aside his own problems to help her. Soon Belle found her father, but moments later, a group of men grabbed Maurice to take him away. Gaston put his arms around Belle. I can clear up this little misunderstanding if you marry me. I'll never marry you. My father's not crazy and I can prove it. She showed Gaston the magic mirror. An image of the beast appeared in it. Gaston shouted, I say we kill the beast. Then he and the villagers headed toward the castle. When the townsfolk arrived, Gaston forced the beast onto the roof. As they fought, Gaston lost his balance and fell to the ground. The beast suddenly collapsed. Belle ran toward him. She cried, No, please, no. I love you. Aw, she loves him. Seconds later, the beast sprung into the air. He was surrounded by shimmering glow. Belle had told the beast that she loved him, which meant that the evil spell that had been cast upon him and all of the household staff was broken. Ooh, there he is in the air. The beast transformed back into a handsome prince. Belle, it's me. It is you. True love had broken the spell, and Belle and the beast lived happily ever after. Wow, that was the last part of the fairy tale. So I like this story a lot because the messages that I get from it, at least, is to treat others the way you want to be treated and to never judge a book by its cover, which means, like, just because he looked like a beast, you shouldn't treat him like one. You know, you want to show him some respect, just like you would want respect. And even though he was mean to her, she still treated him kindly because she knew she would want to be treated kindly instead, or in return. And you know what? Towards the end of the story, you know, it worked. He was so kind and fell in love with her, and she fell in love with him. So never judge a book by its cover. So I hope you are able to think about the setting of the story. So let's think back of what happened. Right. It was mainly in the castle. And when we first read this story, first started this story, and I look back at my pictures, now, was the castle always, like the woods in the castle, was it always bright and shiny? Or was it dark and gloomy? Right, it was kind of dark and gloomy, right? And then, so I think it's mainly just in the castle, if I were to write it. And then a character, the two main characters are who? Right, the two main are Belle and the Beast. But there's some supporting characters in there too, like Maurice, Belle's father. He's a supporting character because he's not in it the whole time, but he's definitely talked about a lot. And then Gaston, because Gaston is the one in charge of the village people who want to go and kill the beast and to lock up her father and try to get her to marry him. So he was like, I think, kind of like the evil villain of the story. When I think of it, not the beast, because the beast, I mean, he was angry at first, but he kind of turned his way around. So I really hope that you enjoyed that story as much as I did. I will be reading so many more stories now that I'm getting back on track with everything, and I hope that you're staying safe and staying inside. And if you need anything, you can always message me. I'm so excited. I hope you have a great night. Bye.